Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So happy to have you guys with me here today. I'm sorry for the lack of content over the weekend. It was a really busy weekend. My mother-in-law and my brother-in-law moved down here to Florida from Boston. We just had a really busy weekend just getting them settled, and so it's just been a little crazy. But I did watch last night's 90 Day Fiancé, and I have to talk about Mike and Natalie because I feel like at this point they're just on the show for the check, right? Like, they clearly despise each other, and at this point I've really noticed that it's all about one-upping each other on how like despicable they can be to each other and how much they can like get their own revenge. Like for Natalie, she wants revenge for the cancellation of the wedding. For Mike, I think he just wants revenge because Natalie was harping about the ring and about how he's low class and his IQ and all of that nonsense. And it's a really terrible marriage. I think for the most part, all of the marriages that we're seeing on HEA season 6 are not in a good place. So it begs the question with the title Happily Ever After. It should be like with a question mark, because I don't think anybody is happy in their relationships. And we still have yet to see Jovi and Yara, and I think a lot of us, the reason why we're tuning in is because we want to see life with baby Mila. So like, thanks TLC, we really need like 1,000 clips of Angela and all of her antics. So anyways, let's talk some Mike and Natalie. I don't know about you guys, but I was actually, when Mike and Natalie were announced for HEA season 6, I was really surprised. I was surprised because, one, Mike barely looked like he wanted to show up for filming throughout season 8 of 90 Day Fiancé. And at one point, they literally only had to film themselves, so it wasn't like a whole big to-do. So I was quite surprised that he signed on to even be on season 6 of HEA. And then also because when they were announced, there was all these rumors going around that, they've split up. Uncle Beau actually confirmed that. But here we are. And at the time they were announced for season 6, where we were in 90 Day Fiancé season 8 was Mike had just called off their wedding. So it was like, okay, like these two like definitely don't make it, right? Like we know that. And then boom, they're on Happily Ever After season 6. We see at the tell-all, they don't even arrive together. They can't even seem to really stomach being in each other's presence. And then episode 1 of Happily Ever After was like, oh, like I love you, and we've like worked through all these problems, and it was like, have we been, what? So a lot of us were confused, and it's really weird because it seems like a lot of the way they show their emotion, the things that come out of their mouths, they just don't jive. They don't match up. So I think that's what has a lot of people confused. So season 6 of Happily Ever After, we learned that they are 6 months into their marriage, which is very interesting because according to Uncle Beau and according to all the internet chatter, they would be approaching their 1-year anniversary. They would have already had their 1-year anniversary, like April 15th, I believe. And she's been living in Seattle, according to Uncle Beau, according to internet gossip. So we're at 6 months, and I think only have a couple months till it's over. Also, Natalie seemed to have a slip up on social media. She is running for some sort of Maxim contest and put that she was going to be a cast member of The Single Life. So I find that very, very interesting. And then she took it down because she's not going to fuck with that NDA. She wants that money, honey. And I'm wondering if Mike is going to be on The Single Life. I would watch that 100% to see like what kind of gals would Mike date after Natalie? What kind of guys would Natalie date? I would watch it. You guys can come for me, but I would watch it. So in this second episode of Happily Ever After season 6, Natalie is surprising Mike for his 36th birthday with champagne of all things, because we know she doesn't drink alcohol. So looks like she's trying to be like a fun, like trying to compromise, meet Mike halfway type of thing. So she gets him his favorite sushi, and she has champagne set up, and they meet in the hotel lobby for a romantic birthday dinner. What was really interesting to me is all of a sudden she talks about Reno. Now, apparently Mike used to live in Reno, but now he's living on this farm, which is a family farm, and I think he bought it. I think it was like his father's family has this farm, and he bought out, I don't know if like his cousins or what, and then he like took in Uncle Beau, who is actually his cousin. It's all very confusing. So anyways, Natalie wants to go like meet his friends, and he's like, yeah, that's cool. It's just that you're like super aggressive, so like maybe don't be super aggressive to my friends. And she's like, I'm only super aggressive to them because they send you naked pictures.
Sometimes come off a little harsh. You know what I mean? Like, people are very polite. I mean, Reno is amazing. Everyone's like family oriented.
Maybe they should send naked pictures to you. Then I will be polite. I will not do any more jokes like that.
Right, Natalie. You don't speak no more.
So did somebody send him a picture? Who was that?
A girl from Nevada.
I just noticed that like Natalie's attitude, it's like this. She has this smile, and it's like sinister, upbeat. Like she's enjoying almost like embarrassing him on national television. We have zero context to like when these photos were sent. Was it recent? Is this something he had like on his computer or in the cloud from like years ago? We have no context of that, but it's like she's bringing this up like she brings up the Sarah thing. And it feels like to me like she's trying to embarrass him. And Mike, this, to me, this seems like when Mike is just like, fuck this isn't worth it, I'm done. Mike doesn't even want to entertain speaking to producers. Natalie kind of gives some backstory. We also learn, was it on the reunion that we learned that Natalie, yeah, it was on the reunion when we learn about her like corresponding a FaceTime with Sarah, how she called Sarah a whore and all this stuff. Like she does seem like super rude to people in his life, and she thinks like his mom is conspiring against them. So it looks like Mike has his life and then his marriage with Natalie, and they're definitely not like meshing at all. It doesn't seem like he really cares to intertwine them, because he didn't even bother to get, or they didn't bother to get him a wedding ring. So at the very end of this episode of Happily Ever After, we see Mike is heading home, and he makes it a point to tell producers he's gonna go have fun, have some shots, drink some beers. He's gonna get trashed. And I'm sure that what's interesting though is they're in Seattle, which is like a 3-hour drive, if I remember correctly, back to Squim. So like, is Natalie supposed to Uber her ass back there? That's fucked up, but I almost wouldn't blame Mike, because like he has to be so over it. Maybe she'll call Tamara to come pick her up. Who knows? I think the rest of the season, we're gonna just see their relationship just progressively disintegrate until they finally call it quits, and it's gonna set it up for a single life. That's kind of how I figure things are gonna go. Just as like season 6 of Happily Ever After in general, I think the casting for this season was so shitty. There are definitely couples. One of the things that I thought was cool is they brought back Ronald and Tiffany, because they're a couple that appeared on the show years ago, and they I think they did self-quarantine, but they haven't really been like super involved in the franchise since. So it was cool to truly like pick up with a couple and see where they're at. Like, that's really cool. the only problem is it's Ronald and Tiffany, and Ronald's in the same exact spot he's been in for years. Like, he can't come to the United States because of his criminal record. So there's not a lot up, but there's definitely couples I would love to pick up on. I would love to catch up with like Melanie and DeVar. I would love to catch up with Kyle and Noon, because I know he now is a realtor in Oregon. There's so many couples that I think people would love to see that aren't just like complete garbage. I even would love to have seen like Rebecca and Zied, and see how Zied is acclimating more and more in Georgia. Like, I think that would have been really cool. You know, I obviously we like Jovi and Yara, and we want to see like the baby journey. And I guess I kind of understand why they cast Mike and Natalie, because they're just such a shit show. Like, I don't really understand why they cast Julia and Brandon, and they're really featuring them a lot. But to me, it's kind of, they're never gonna leave the farm. Julia's wanting to move to the big, beautiful city of Las Vegas. And it's just kind of like, okay, you guys were like, this is literally the same thing that we saw in season 8 of 90 Day Fiancé. So it's kind of just like, and then like this, it's the same shit with Kalani and Asuelu. But with Kalani and Asuelu, what I can't wrap my head around is the difference of them being filmed when they're on the show versus when they're like on Pillow Talk. Because it's like they seem to like each other and care for each other when they're on Pillow Talk. When they're on the show, it's like totally different. And I can't really, you know, like, part of me is like, there's no way, like, why are they not getting divorced? And then I see them on Pillow Talk, I'm like, oh, they seem to like each other, so okay. But I don't get it. So what do you guys think of the casting choices for this season? Obviously, I know why they cast Angela and Michael, because we're gonna be brought along the journey of Angela's weight loss. If there was anyone that deserved just like a fast pass to a visa of any kind, tourist, spousal, travel, work visa, what have you, I think Michael of all people deserves it. He's been through a lot. So I know a lot of us are rooting for him, but we're all very concerned about like when he does get a visa, when he comes here, what his life is going to be like with Angela. It's very concerning. So anyways, you guys, let me know, how are you guys liking season 6 of Happily Ever After? What do you guys think of Mike and Natalie? It seems like it's gonna get super dark. We have Thanksgiving coming up with Mike's mom, and I know that they've already teased that is going to be a total shit show. You guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad. And my husband, we're gonna try, you know, we're getting everything settled with his mom and his brother, but we're gonna try to get in. He has so much to say about Seeking Sister Wife, about like all the couples. We're gonna try to get that filmed this week so that it doesn't have to wait for the weekend. So I'll keep you updated on that. Anyways, you guys, take care. Have a good one. Much love.